Foreign Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Singapore. First of all, I'd like to convey my deepest sympathies to Laos on the collapse of the Se Bien Se Nam Noi hydroelectric dam. I would also like to express my condolences to Indonesia on the earthquake in Lombok. Singapore and ASEAN stand ready to support our Laotian and Indonesian friends during this difficult time. The ASEAN Foreign Ministers Meeting holds special meaning to ASEAN because this is how ASEAN started. 51 years ago, in August 1967, 5 foreign ministers signed the ASEAN Declaration in the main hall of the Department of Foreign Affairs in Bangkok. It was a leap of faith for the founding members to come together. Southeast Asia at that time was very different from Southeast Asia today. It was a troubled and unstable region, rife with hostilities and confrontation. The 5 countries wanted to build a regional platform that could build trust and cooperation and put away old suspicions and rivalries in order to create a stable external environment for themselves and to allow each country to focus on its own nation building. ASEAN has come a long way since that tumultuous period. We now have 10 members. ASEAN cooperation has broadened and deepened. We've become an established and respected regional grouping in international fora. ASEAN achieved its initial political objective of regional peace and stability. This in itself was a significant accomplishment. Thereafter, ASEAN shifted its focus to economic cooperation. We launched the ASEAN Free Trade Area in 1992. Today, the ASEAN Economic Community is one of the more successful economic groupings in the world. With a growing middle class and a young workforce, ASEAN is forecast to become the 4th largest economy in the world by 2050. ASEAN has also cast our collective sights outward to engage external parties. We started the post-ministerial conferences with ASEAN Dialogue's partners in 1978. We went on to establish the ASEAN Regional Forum in 1994, the ASEAN Plus 3 in 1997, and the East Asia Summit in 2005. All these fora are on the agenda this week. Together, they make up the open, inclusive, and ASEAN-centric regional architecture which has supported the region's peace and stability. While these ASEAN-led structures have served us well, we must continue to strengthen the regional architecture. We can all see the growing geopolitical uncertainties. At the same time, each ASEAN member state is subject to different pulls and pressures from bigger powers. In these circumstances, all the more, we must stay united and strive to maintain our cohesion and effectiveness. That's the only way for ASEAN to remain relevant and to be of value to our members as well as our external partners. I shall briefly mention 2 specific areas where we can do more together. First, economic integration, one of the 3 pillars of the ASEAN community. Trade tensions between the US and our other dialogue partners, including China, the EU, and Canada, have escalated. The rules-based multilateral trading system, which has underpinned ASEAN's growth and prosperity, is under pressure. It's important that ASEAN continues to support the multilateral system and work with like-minded partners to deepen our web of cooperation. I'm glad that ASEAN countries are redoubling their efforts to conclude the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, by the end of the year. The RCEP comprises ASEAN and our 6 FTA partners. It will be the world's largest trading bloc, covering 1/3 of the world's GDP. We are also working with the EU on the ASEAN-EU Comprehensive Air Transport Agreement, the first substantive aviation arrangement between 2 major regional groupings. When established, these 2, the RCEP and the ASEAN-EU CATA, will send a clear signal of ASEAN's commitment to trade liberalization and economic integration. I do not expect the negotiations to be easy, especially with a growing mood of nationalism and protectionism in many countries. Every participant will have to make trade-offs and difficult compromises. But I'm glad that ASEAN member states have taken a long-term approach and made a collective decision to stay on course in order to bring tangible benefits to our peoples. Secondly, we should make full use of technology to bring ASEAN closer together. The fourth industrial revolution is underway. ASEAN has to embrace innovation, build up our digital connectivity, and make ourselves ready for the future. We are forming the ASEAN Smart Cities Network. The 26 participating cities held the inaugural meeting last month. Singapore hopes that these cities will come together to establish a common framework for smart city development and to develop city-specific action plans and innovative projects that will improve the lives of our peoples. At the national level, Singapore has launched its own efforts to support the drive towards digitalization. We held our Smart Nation Innovations Week in June. Our Smart Nation initiative seeks to improve the lives of citizens and the competitiveness of businesses through the use of data and digital technology, including in e-payments, public transportation, and the delivery of government services. At the same time, Singapore is stepping up our cybersecurity defenses, especially in 11 critical sectors, including aviation, healthcare, and water supply. We recently experienced a major intrusion into one of our healthcare data systems, which only underlines the seriousness and urgency of the task. To boost regional economic integration and the adoption of technology, Singapore will enhance our support for the Initiative for ASEAN Integration. We will upgrade the 3 Initiative for ASEAN Integration centers in Vietnam, in Cambodia, and in Laos to become Singapore Cooperation Centers. The new centers will expand our range of technical assistance and offer new modalities for capacity building that go beyond classroom training. Singapore hopes to share our experiences as well as, and at the same time, learn from our neighbors and partners. Chairing ASEAN in its 51st year is a significant responsibility. Singapore hopes to work with fellow ASEAN colleagues to forge a new way forward for ASEAN. And together, as our theme for the chairmanship has it, to build an innovative and resilient ASEAN for future generations. Thank you very much.